Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
COVID cases are climbing and spring break is upon us. What healthcare experts are warning as Michigan sees another surge.
We woke up to a soggy start this morning, but have recovered very nicely, thank you. Now can we keep it going into the weekend? Kim?
Okay, Ben, more ugliness tonight in Michigan politics as comments about witches and assassinations recorded during a meeting spark a firestorm of criticism. Michigan GOP Chair Ron Weiser is getting attention tonight for what he said at a meeting of the North Oakland Republican Club.
At that meeting, he referred to Governor Whitmer, Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, and Attorney General Dana Nessel as the three witches. And that's not all he had to say. Let's bring in Rod Maloney. He's live this evening. And Rod, he also took aim at other Republicans.
Yeah, Karen, Kimberly, it was a situation where last night he was addressing a group of very frustrated, anxious Republicans, and Ron Weiser, who is now the chairman for all of about 2 months now of the party, was taking those questions, and his answers are the stuff that got him in trouble on social media today. Weiser's recorded discussion posted on Facebook about the governor, Secretary of State, and Attorney General raised eyebrows. Quote, "Our job is to soften up those three witches and make sure we have good candidates to run against them. They are ready for burning at the stake," end quote. The edgy crowd wanted to know what Weiser will do about so-called witches in the Republican Party, Congressmen Upton and Meyer, who voted to impeach former President Donald Trump. Weiser remarked,
"Other than assassination, I have no other way of voting out." Okay? You people have to go out there and support their opponents. You have to do what you need to get out the vote in those areas. That's how you beat people.
That brought a quick response from Governor Whitmer. Quote, "Given the dramatic increase in death threats against Michigan elected officials during the Trump administration, this type of rhetoric is destructive and downright dangerous. It's time for people of goodwill on both sides of the aisle to bring down the heat and reject this kind of divisive rhetoric," end quote. The Attorney General tweeted the following, quote, "Witches who magically decrease COVID spread, increase voter turnout, and hold sexual predators accountable without any help from the legislature? Sign me up for that coven. Do better, Michigan GOP," end quote. The Republican Party put out its own statement, quote, "Chairman Weiser and our Executive Director Jason Rowe both made very clear that it is up to the voters to determine the nominees of the Republican Party, and to suggest anything else is dishonest and irresponsible. The chairman has also personally donated to all Republican congressmen in Michigan," end quote. Now, Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson had a statement this afternoon saying that it's horrifically reckless and unconscionable that anyone in a position of leadership or authority, knowing full well that violent rhetoric can lead to violent acts, would make such incendiary comments targeting public officials in our state. Back to you.
So, Rod, talk to me a little bit. What do we know about Ron Weiser's background?
Well, he's a wealthy businessman. He's given about $50 million, I think it's closer to $100 million to the University of Michigan. He's on the Michigan Board of Regents right now with a term ending in 2025. But one of the papers tonight is reporting that the Board of Regents is asking him to step down.
All right, we'll be following this one closely. Thank you, Rod.
We now turn to the potential for what experts are calling a perfect storm. With spring break starting today, the state reports 5,030 new cases of COVID-19, continuing this troubling uptick. 20 new deaths are also being reported over that same time period. Infectious disease experts are pleading to anyone who'll listen, asking them to hold off on traveling for spring break.
But that isn't stopping thousands of families from taking to the skies and getting out of town. Priya Mann live this evening, and Priya, they say the current surge could get even worse because of this.
Yeah, that's right, Karen. Kim, when you're talking about spring break and the surge, the demographics here are really concerning. Kids age 10 to 19 have seen the biggest increase, more than 130%. It's the first time they have led confirmed COVID cases. Now, we spoke to some families. They're traveling regardless. Others sticking closer to home.
We're seniors, so we're just already over with it.
These college students are skipping spring break this year.
We're both staying home. I work, so I don't really have the time to go off and go for spring break.
Yeah, I was dog sitting, so I stayed home.
Some school districts like Troy are having a virtual week after spring break to give families the opportunity to see if any symptoms develop upon return, and reminding families that if they're traveling internationally, there is a mandatory 10-day quarantine before students and staff can come back into our building.
As an infectious disease physician, my advice is not to travel during spring break. This is the time that we should really be very, very cautious.
Some families have opted to travel internationally. Jennifer Kane and her husband are flying to the Dominican next weekend.
We took our kids in December, international, and we felt safe. We were fine. I feel like people have kind of been cooped up for so long that they're gonna go to Florida. They're gonna do things like that.
Many of us are feeling pandemic fatigue, but with cases in Michigan surging, experts say this is not the time to let your guard down.
We are seeing a lot of variants in Michigan, and since the schools started, we have seen more and more outbreaks in schools. Anywhere in children from 10 to 19 years of age, and they are obviously at high risk of spreading to each other.
And if you are going,
Wear your mask. Yeah, be safe.
yeah, they certainly know what's up. Now, Dr. Chopra says she is extremely worried that numbers are back where they were in October, and this is a time when many parents want to make in-person learning permanent. Again, her advice is to stick closer to home this spring break. Reporting live tonight, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Priya. University of Michigan hockey team has been removed from the NCAA tournament due to positive COVID-19 test results.
The team was supposed to play Minnesota Duluth this afternoon. However, the game was ruled a no contest, and Minnesota Duluth automatically advances. Michigan says the team has remained in daily testing protocol and was preparing for the game when they found out they could not compete. All right, take a look now at today's coronavirus vaccine numbers. The number of doses distributed to Michigan is holding steady at 4.3 million. Meanwhile, the number of doses administered is really ramping up with 3.9 million doses administered. To help get even more vaccinations in arms, Macomb County is opening a new vaccination clinic.
This one will be in the County Health Department South Branch. It's in Warren on Van Dyke, north of 696. Nick Monticelli was able to get a tour today and found as they opened this clinic, they are also very worried about spring break.
It's a sight we might all be too familiar with, but one we can never get enough of. Another vaccination clinic, this one on the south end of Macomb County. It'll be opening on Monday. Macomb County Health Department Director Andrew Cox says the new location is about accessibility.
That way it just makes it more convenient. The drive's less. It's right around the corner. It's a recognized, known building that's been in the community.
Inside this new vaccination clinic, they'll be able to do about 1,000 doses every single day. So countywide, with their 5 sites, they can do 25,000 every single week. That's important because cases are going up and up. So they're trying to vaccinate as many people as fast as they can.
The longer that we have the majority of the population that's not vaccinated yet, the more chance that we see variations. The concern is that the more that we let that happen or allow that to happen and don't slow the spread, the more chances we have a more severe variant that comes out and is just more contagious and deadlier.
And the timing makes matters worse. Health leaders are gravely concerned about the virus spreading rapidly during spring break. Most are urging people not to travel at all.
I would not feel safe right now traveling right now. That's just my own opinion and my own perspective as the health officer here and what I do and what I'd recommend for my own family.
And Cox adds, if you do travel,
mask up, avoid crowds if possible, do all the things. Hand washing that we talk about is so important right now, but we are very concerned with large gatherings and groups.
In Warren, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel is closing an investigation into Michigan State University over Larry Nassar because the school won't cooperate. Nessel says MSU's Board of Trustees won't waive privilege for more than 6,000 documents. The AG's office was looking into who at Michigan State may have known about Nassar's sexual assaults of athletes.
Well, we sure got that rain we needed overnight, and now it's much cooler as we make our way into the weekend here.
But the sun is shining, and that's pretty nice. Let's get over to Ben for a look at what's in store for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, guys, we're going to get some of this over the weekend, but we've got some rain to discuss as well as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Rest of our evening looks dry and a little bit cooler than what we've been used to, but still above average. Remember, average highs in the low 50s. We're at 56 right now. Howell's at 50. There are some 40s out there up in Port Huron, but the winds are much lighter tonight than they were when we woke up this morning. We do have a system we're tracking over the weekend. The core of it is going right across the state of Michigan, and you can see how much of the area is going to end up wet. But the question is, how much water is coming and what's the timing on that? We'll check that out coming up, but you can see the temperatures tonight staying in the 50s until midnight, and we'll continue to watch clearing skies. So when we wake up tomorrow morning, we will see the sun. Question is, how much of the weekend is going to be a washout? We'll look at that coming up in a few minutes, guys.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Southgate man facing charges tonight in connection to the January 6th riots at the U.S. Capitol. 45-year-old Anthony Williams is charged with breaking into the Capitol, obstructing Congress, and disorderly conduct. Federal agents say photos show Williams inside the Capitol that day. 6 men from Michigan now have been charged in the FBI's investigation. Tonight at 6, we will show you how the FBI built its case against him. The 24-year-old man charged with stealing a Bentley from a car rental business over in Southfield was in court this afternoon.
Robert Walton was arraigned on several charges, including unauthorized driving away of an automobile. He was caught on camera driving away with that Bentley Tuesday at Dream Luxury Car Rentals. Wednesday, several tips led police to finding the car and arresting Walton at an apartment complex on 8 Mile. He'll be back in court next month.
Well, she's charging ahead in a field dominated by men.
New tonight, the second in command at Michigan State Police is looking back at her path to success and sharing her inspirational message to the next generation.
And why you definitely should care about this ship that ran aground halfway around the world. This mistake could end up costing you money. Hank.
It's a stimulus check glitch affecting up to 14 million people across the country and right here in Metro Detroit. If you're still waiting for your money, I may have the answer as to why it's not in your account. It's coming up new tonight.